Let's be honest. Is there anything in sports quite like a last minute against all odds comeback? That feeling, the drama, the pure disbelief, it's why we watch. But what if we could look at these epic turnarounds not just as fans, but as smart bettors? Okay, let's dive into the art and science of the comeback.
We've all heard this a million times, right? It's the classic hopeful cry when your team is down. But for a sharp bettor, this isn't just some old cliche, it's a potential strategy. It's all about finding those exact moments where the game is about to flip, right before the live odds have a chance to catch up.
I mean, who could forget these? Manchester United scoring 2 goals in injury time. Djokovic staring down 2 match points against Federer and just refusing to lose. Or the Cavs coming back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. These aren't just incredible stories, they're perfect case studies in how fast momentum can swing.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll talk about why we're so drawn to comebacks. Then, we're going to break down the specific dynamics in tennis, basketball, and football. And finally, we'll tie it all together so you can start betting with your head, not just with your heart. Okay, so the first step is really a mental one. It's about shifting your entire perspective. You know, a fan sees a miracle happening right before their eyes. A sharp bettor, on the other hand, is looking for patterns, for triggers, and for that hidden value in a team that's on the ropes.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The key phrase is seemingly insignificant patterns. That's the secret sauce. It could be a subtle shift in a player's body language, a small tactical change, or just a moment of complacency from the team that's leading. Your goal is to spot these triggers and act before the live odds fully adjust.
Ultimately, this is what it all comes down to. Value. Value betting is the absolute core principle here. It means finding odds that are higher than the real probability of something happening. When a team is trailing, their odds get longer, right? And that's exactly when a value opportunity can pop up if you believe their true chances are better than what those odds suggest. If you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser. All right, let's head over to the tennis court, which is basically a perfect laboratory for studying comebacks. It's a one-on-one duel, right? So it's intensely psychological. Momentum here can swing on a single point, which creates some absolutely fascinating betting scenarios. So what should you be looking for? Well, there are 3 main triggers. First up, inexperience. You see a younger player come out on fire, but they just can't sustain that level and they lose composure. Second, complacency. A top seed wins a tough set, and they just mentally relax for a second, giving their opponent a huge opening. And third, pure psychology. Some players just have a reputation for tightening up and choking in those big moments. And this chart lays it out perfectly. The favorite squeaks out a tiebreak, and boom, their odds plummet, offering almost no value. But their opponent, who's now more motivated than ever, suddenly has these long, high-value odds. Betting on that underdog to win the next set can be a really savvy move. Now here's a little pro tip for you, specifically for the WTA Tour. Service breaks happen way more often in women's tennis. So when a favorite gets broken early in a set, the market often overreacts. This is your chance to jump in and bet on her to still win the set, but at much better odds than you ever would have gotten before the match even started. All right, let's switch gears and head to the hardwood. Basketball is a game of runs. It's so high scoring that big leads can just evaporate in a matter of minutes. But beyond just what you see with your eyes, there are some really fascinating stats that can guide our betting. So let me throw this at you. A team is up at halftime. How safe is that lead really? The answer might actually surprise you. Okay, now get this. This is where the numbers get really, really interesting. Based on almost 20,000 NBA games, teams with a lead of 4 or more points at the half go on to win 70% of the time. Okay, no huge shocker there. But look at the other side. Teams trailing by just 3 points or less actually win the game 54% of the time, more often than not. So what's the big takeaway? A small halftime deficit, believe it or not, isn't a bad sign. Statistically, it's an indicator of a slight advantage. The market often overreacts and makes the odds on that trailing team longer, creating a perfect value betting opportunity based on hard data. To act on insights like this, you need the right tools. And if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, a quick search for betplace.us in your browser is a great place to start. Now for football, where comebacks are the stuff of legend. But from a betting perspective, it's a much, much tougher puzzle to solve. The low-scoring nature of the game just makes it incredibly difficult to overturn a deficit. And this right here, this is the lore. It's the trap. You see a team down by a single goal at the half, and the odds for them to still win the match are huge, something like 20-1. It's so tempting to just throw a small wager on that massive potential payout. But you gotta ask yourself, is it a smart bet? Well, let's bring it back to reality with some cold, hard data. In the English Premier League, the team that's leading at halftime goes on to win the match a staggering 75% of the time. That means only 1 out of every 4 halftime leaders fails to get the win. Suddenly, those long odds make a whole lot more sense, don't they? So here's the bottom line. Unlike tennis or basketball, a blind strategy of just betting on football teams to come from behind is a recipe for disaster. It'll destroy your bankroll. Those odds are long for a very good reason. For football, you have to watch the game live and only bet when you see that a team is absolutely dominating, but has somehow, unluckily, fallen behind. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. We've seen how psychology is the name of the game in tennis, how stats define basketball, and just how tough comebacks really are in football. So now let's pull it all together into a clear, actionable checklist. Here are your 4 golden rules. 1. Analyze the psychology, especially in those one-on-one sports. 2. Understand the specific comeback stats for whatever sport you're betting on. 3, and this is crucial, watch the game live. Never bet blind. And 4, always remember that high odds do not automatically mean good value. Look, in the end, it all comes down to this. You have to separate the emotional thrill of a potential comeback, that hope you feel as a fan, from the cold, hard probability of it actually happening. Mastering that separation is what turns a casual fan into a sharp bettor. And if you're ready to put these ideas to the test, remember, if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you see a team trailing, are you going to see a lost cause, or are you going to see a potential value opportunity? The comeback can be a brilliant, smart bet, but it could also be fool's gold. The key is knowing how to tell the difference.